Ladies and gentlemen, be prepared. Your business, I keep repeating, is to know the type of questions that have been asked in the past. One of the favorite questions that has been asked is, who is your role model? How do I answer this question? In fact, my first question is, have you really understood who a role model is? Quite often, whenever I ask who is a role model, I find many students talking about their parents as role models. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not confuse love with role model. I am sure you love your parents. In fact, I can assure you, so do I. But are they my role models? That depends on what my goal is. You cannot talk about your father as a role model because he has suffered quite a bit in life and has made that into a success story. Yes, that is a strong story, but probably not the strongest of the strongest story you can come out with. So let's look at this answer again and let's try to understand how we can get more marks. Role models are of two types. One can be a public figure like Mother Teresa, like Sachin Tendulkar. Why not Virat Kohli as well? Few would also say like Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now ladies and gentlemen, the other could be private personalities. Now when I use the word private personalities, it can be my father, it can be my teacher. The question I have for you is very simple. If I had a choice, would I go for a public figure or a private figure? Ladies and gentlemen, if you thought I will go for a private figure, you are wrong. I will go for a public figure. Why would I go for a public figure? The point is two. Number one, if I go for a public figure and I talk about something, the other person will be able to appreciate that person because the person knows that public figure. Second, there is a very good chance further questions can be asked. Now ladies and gentlemen, if I were to talk about my father, when the interviewer does not know my father so much, what questions can he ask? Remember, interview is not about answering. Remember, interview is not just about asking. Remember, interview is not just about answering, it is about forcing the other person to ask a question that you want to ask. So ladies and gentlemen, let's see how to answer it and let's then analyze it. Someone asked me, Abdullah, who is your role model? Sachin Tendulkar is my role model. If I were to become quiet after that, I am not selling, I am only answering. How do I improve that? Let's see how I am improving it. Sachin Tendulkar is my role model because he has been a fantastic player. He has not just made a name for himself in the cricket field but also outside. Now if you were to give me that answer, I am not going to give you huge marks. I am going to say it's a good answer but not a great answer. You know why? Because you praise Sachin Tendulkar, you did not praise yourself. Remember the rule I keep saying, you are the hero. In the interview, you are here to sell yourself to the company. So by praising Sachin Tendulkar, what benefit have you accrued? So learn the art of improving the answer further. So let me show you how to make the answer a great answer. Frankly, Sachin Tendulkar is my role model. I consider him as a role model because he has been a person who has been able to make a name for himself not just in the cricket field but also outside. If you look at it really, outside also he has a very good name. I consider him as a role model because whenever I have any decisions to be taken, I always think what would he do, and that has resulted in me taking the right decision. If today I am considered to be a friendly person, if today I am considered to be a person who is very sportive, that is more because Sachin Tendulkar is my role model. Ladies and gentlemen, analyze this answer. Did I talk about a public figure? Yes. Did I talk about Sachin Tendulkar? Yes. But did I also talk about myself? Yes. I get more marks for the third element, not the first and the second, ladies and gentlemen. Learn the art of selling yourself. And the beauty is when you do talk about Sachin Tendulkar, there is a very good chance another question can be asked. For example, someone can ask us a question, and this is a hot question. Who do you think is the greatest player, Virat Kohli or Sachin Tendulkar? Now we know the fact that such questions are already being asked in the public domain. So there is a very good chance they will ask in the interview. And my business is to be prepared for that. Similarly, if you were to say Mother Teresa is your role model, one of the favorite questions they ask is, what is the real name of Mother Teresa and from which country does she really belong to? So when questions of this nature are asked, you should be able to answer it. So what is my recommendation? My recommendation is, if you are preferring a public figure, see to it that you do a little bit of research. Go to Wikipedia, learn a little bit about that person. After all, if that person is your role model, should you not know more than others? Let's look at the other angle. Can I make the answer a little more interesting? Imagine the fact that TCS asked me this question, Abdullah, who is your role model? And I say, Mr. Narayana Murthy is my role model. Can I do that? Of course I can do that. Today, Mr. Narayana Murthy does not just represent Infosys, ladies and gentlemen, he represents IT sector. He represents the success of what India can be. He is a first generation entrepreneur and he has made a name for himself, not just in India but abroad as well. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore he can be my role model. So I can talk about him, but the moment I talk about then expect one more question, then why not Infosys? Let's not forget, after all, Infosys is Mr. Narayana Murthy's. So the fact of the matter is, by choosing the role model very carefully, I can tempt and get the right question to be asked later, ladies and gentlemen, I am then going to be victorious. Let's not give up on private figures. Yes, your father can be a role model. But if your father is a role model, have a strong story. See to it that your father is a good example for others to follow. It cannot be the case that he has worked hard and become good. Talk about the fact that he has done something to the society as well. So if there are challenges your father has faced, bring that forward and tell how you have benefited from him. Let me give an example. No, not of the father, but let's talk about a younger brother of mine. My role model is my younger cousin brother. He is frankly physically challenged. Yet, whenever I notice, I look at the optimism in his face, I see the fact that he tries to do many things which, because of his physical deformity, he generally does not succeed. But I have never seen him give up. And I consider him as a role model because whenever I have my doubts, whenever I have the self-doubt, I think of him. And that gives me power. And that's one of the reasons why I have been able to do well in quite a few other areas as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll get huge marks. Not just for the fact that I have talked about myself, also because of one very important aspect. I am talking about my younger brother. Ladies and gentlemen, I am projecting the fact that I can consider heroes even among people who are younger than me. I am open to learning from people who are junior to me. Ladies and gentlemen, a big positive. It's your responsibility when a question is asked to ask yourself, how do I maximize? You, I'm sure, have hundreds of role models. And if you do, choose one and talk about that person. Now, don't ever say you do not have a role model. Ladies and gentlemen, role model is required. You know why? That is what you aspire to be. If you are not looking at the future, if you don't see the dreams, you don't set the dreams, then what are we talking about? Show me the fact that you have a vision, not just for your career, but for yourself. And ladies and gentlemen, that is where role model becomes important. Similarly, if you have many role models, do not just say that you have many role models and keep quiet. Say you have many role models, but name a role model and elaborate a little bit. As I said, you can be creative. Can Hitler be a role model? Answer is yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Hitler, a dictator, a person who killed many people, can still be a role model, provided you can successfully project the fact that you learn from the positives but not the negatives. For example, how do I frame an answer? Abdullah, who is your role model? Personally, I have always believed Hitler is my role model. I do not condone what he has done. I am against the fact that he killed quite a few Jews. I am against the fact that he brought destruction to the world. But I consider him as a role model because as a short gentleman, he was a fantastic speaker. I love the fact that he had a great oratory skills. Germany has actually been defeated in the First World War. Within 5 years, he is able to make Germany into a powerhouse again. And for me, that is what leadership is all about. So, though I disagree with a lot of policies Hitler has done, I do appreciate that there are a lot of positives one can learn. And for me, those positives make him my role model. Ladies and gentlemen, any controversial figure you give, there's a very good chance interview will go ahead in that. So, you need to be prepared for it. So, would I recommend you to talk about Hitler as a role model? That depends on whether you have the ability to speak a little more about him or not. But yes, every element, every person has blacks and whites. Ladies and gentlemen, our business is to learn from the whites. We need heroes. We need role models. And yes, you need to have a good answer for your role model, because this is another question that you should expect in the interviews. All the very best. Thank you so much.